Good evening, good morning, good afternoon. Ollie here, and I've got another loaf of bread for you. Today's loaf of bread comes to us from Chogyam Trungpa. Sure, I butchered it. Had to read it from the page. That's usually an indicator. But the wisdom is there, and here it is. Becoming awake involves seeing our confusion more clearly. I may not be able to pronounce his name, but man, do I ever agree with this person. That is 100% my experience. Whatever you call it, whether it's awakening or enlightenment or all these different terms, doesn't really matter. The experience itself, the mystical experience, is seeing through the veil of illusions for the first time. And the veil of illusion is woven with the thread of confusion and ignorance and misconception. It's not necessarily that we are being willfully ignorant, it's that we are burdened with certain physical and cognitive limitations. And because of these limitations, we perceive a very, very finite and very narrow sliver of what really is. And so we begin to assume that this tiny sliver is what really is, even though it's not. It's like a really modified, really tailor-made version of it. It's put together by your nervous system and your brain and your mind, and you will go through this world thinking that, all of this is solid matter when in fact it's 99% empty space. And you think, wow, this is permanent, or this is static, when in fact, if you could see it at a subatomic level, you would realize that it's not static at all. It's dancing right now, right in front of you, but you can't perceive it. Your senses are too limited. You just can't see it. And you can't perceive how vast the universe is and how small we are. And you can't perceive that you're dying, because day to day you look and feel the same. But if you think back 10 or 15 years, you're like, oh man, I am getting old. And as time goes on, you get attacked by these realities that you've been able to either ignore, oversee, or misunderstand because of these cognitive and physical limitations. The topic of this video is seeing through your confusion, or becoming more aware of your confusion and slowly deconstructing it. Thread by thread, you're pulling the veil apart, and eventually you will see how things really are. And that might be the culmination, perhaps, of the awakening process. I don't know. The beginning of the awakening process I can speak about, because I feel that I have been there, and it was definitely awareness of misconception and illusion. And there's a lot of it around us. The four most detrimental illusions that affect us on a daily basis, in my opinion, are the illusion of the egocentric experience, the idea that I'm the center of the universe because everything happens around me. I'm at the center of it all. The illusion of duality, the idea that there exists in nature this categorization of up and down, good and evil, right and wrong, left and right, and that these things are concrete, objective, and they are real, rather than relative, fluid, and all that stuff. The third misconception or illusion that affects us the most is the illusion of permanence. The fact that things look fairly static and permanent in this world. When that sense of stability that we think we have is taken from us or shaken, it has a really negative impact on our mental and emotional health. And last but not least, the fourth one that I think really negatively impacts us is the illusion of control. We believe we can control things that are, frankly, either partially or totally out of our control. And that brings us no end of suffering. The desire to control things that we can't control, the belief that we control things we don't control, all of that, it's terrible. It's a plague. If you take all of your troubles, all of your negative circumstances, and you break them out into what you can and can't control, you're going to realize most of those things you can't control. You might be able to control them partially through your intentions, through your attitude, through your actions. So anything that you can control out there, you control it through yourself. And so you always have to look to yourself. That's the only thing you truly and fully control, and that no one else can control, no matter what. Anyways, so those are the four biggest misconceptions, the ones that have the most impact on us negatively as far as our mental and emotional health is concerned. And those are the 4 illusions that you start to be able to see through and to deconstruct as you awaken. So, wake up! Start to look at yourself and start to look for your confusion and your delusions and your misconceptions. All right, that's it for me. Live well, my friends.